Hey, what up YouTube? CC back today to go over another episode of Ask CC, where this time we have an episode within an episode, or series within a series, or it's sort of Inception-y, where we are covering part 1 of 2 of a series within Ask CC about what stats matter. This time we are covering offensive line and tight end, receiver, quarterback, running back, etc. We're covering offense, right? Pretty simple. So let's start with our offensive linemen, right? Now this is one of the positions where I truly feel that whatever is on the back of the card is all you really need to see. You don't need to really go look too deep into anything else. Now, obviously, strength, run block, pass block, impact blocking. We all know that those are important. You want them as high as possible. Awareness, as far as we still understand, has to deal with blitzes. And I think I've seen it, and I don't know. I don't know how it all truly works. But because EA said it matters, I just wanted a high number. Speed and agility really are only mattering when you have pulling linemen for, say, a O-1 trap, wham, toss, pitch, stuff like power O's, stuff like that. That's when it's very important. If you are a dive master, speed and agility, not the most important thing. But if you can get them high, you might as well get them high, right? And then we have stamina, which is something that's not really talked about. Because offensive line is on the field, every offensive play, obviously, and they never get subbed out. This is something that to me is very important, where you need to keep an eye and make sure that they're not tired. Because if you have this long drive, maybe they're getting tired. Maybe their stamina is low. Maybe they're not holding their blocks as long. Maybe they're getting shedded even quicker. So I do like to have people with high stamina. So we see like Walter Jones here is a 92. 86 for Randall McDaniel, which is still okay compared to there's a lot of people in the 70s, right? Pouncey, 86. So there's no right number as far as I can tell for something that's good. But when you look at some of these other cards, like as I scroll through here, there's a couple which are just bad. There's a couple that are just bad. But I think it's important. But normally, with the high overall, you're really just going to get the numbers anyway. It's usually fair that for offensive linemen, the higher the overall, truly, the better they are. The only difference is scheme-wise, speed and agility, right? So Larry Allen's super highly rated, but he's super slow. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Up next, we have tight end. All right, let's do the other one. Let's do the compare so we can see everything here, right? So obviously we know speed is very important. Strength is important for the run blocking side of things, right? Strength and run block obviously matter. The catch stat itself, it's essentially catching the ball while someone is open. So you obviously want it really high, but it doesn't matter. Release is something that you can't really bump a tight end off the line. Now, if you sub your tight end into, he's split out wide, then release matters, but otherwise, it doesn't, right? We all know route running, catch and traffic, spec catch. We all know what those do. So tight end is, to me, it's very straightforward what they can actually do. But I think something that is underrated is because we like to block our tight ends at times is pass blocking. And not all tight ends are created equal in pass blocking. We see Tony's got 71, Bo's got 80. Dwight Clark here has 50. So if you're using him to block as like a sixth lineman, like 60 pass block or 50 pass block is really bad. It's really bad. So it's something that you need to keep in mind, honestly. If you're blocking someone, and that is a big part of your scheme, make sure you have someone who can actually block. I think there's like a Jason Taylor with secure pass blocker, but secure pass blocker doesn't work, in my opinion, at all. That's why you've seen me like actually go away from it. Like I still have the guys that I used to have, but I just don't think it really works. up next, super important, is quarterback, right? Now, obviously, you want to scramble, not scramble. That's the speed thing, right? But to me, the most important stat a quarterback can have is throw power. I've thought this all year, and I think it every year, because I don't need some noodle-armed dumbass behind the line of scrimmage. It just does not work well. Now, as far as thresholds go, right? I don't think they've ever published the thresholds. There's been a lot of speculation about them. But you really would prefer to have thresholds met on your short, medium, and deep accuracies. However, if someone doesn't have the threshold met, that's okay. Like, I use Vic, and he doesn't meet a single passing threshold. I guarantee it. But what I love about Vic is, I understand that he's going to miss some passes, and I'm okay with that. But he's got high throw power and pretty good deep throw, so that when I need to do my bombs, he's pretty reliable at getting the ball there. Short and medium, you know what? He's gonna miss a throw or two every game, and I have to live with that. But to me, having a mobile quarterback is the next most important thing. So I need to have someone who can throw really hard and someone who can run really fast. And that's why Vic is going to be on my team for until the next Vic, probably, honestly. Now, running back. We all know all about this, right? We obviously like speed. We also like acceleration. Those are very obvious. Agility is how well you can actually cut and handle and maneuver with your running back. So the high agility of someone like Barry is better than someone like, say, Earl Campbell here with 88. Or Derek Brooks with 86, or the bus, or how sticky can you get with someone is what agility truly, truly means. Otherwise, carrying, I don't really know if it matters. I think carrying is too based on coaching adjustments anyway. So I sort of overlook that. But something else that is important, just like tight ends, is we like to block our running backs at times. It's very essential. So I like a running back with high pass block. And some running backs have it, some don't, right? A lot of them, for the most part, just get these very standard static ratings. But there's some guys in the game we see here, like Leonard Fournette. They just don't have it really high. Now, for stiff arm, spin, juke, trucking, you're really looking for 91. If someone has 91, you're going to get that elite tier. I know that in CFM there's certain standards, but I don't really know if that translates, into open mutt or anything like that. Sorry, guys, I'm getting sick again. It's been a month, right? But obviously, those 91 is what you want to look for in those. And if you can get it, great. If not, well, if you like to juke, don't get a running back with under 91 juke. If you want to truck everyone, don't get a running back with under 91 truck. It's really, really simple. And it's really, really important to have. Now, receiver, again, to me, this one is really, really quite obvious. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm breaking any ground here. But similarly, the strength and run block, like you would have with tight ends, does matter. To me, 100%. I look for it. There's a reason why Randy Moss is not on my team anymore, because I was able to actually get Calvin. It's not just that Calvin is really good, it's that Calvin is a really good run blocker as well. And for the way I like to play, it's perfect. So we all know agility still does the same thing with the stickiness, speed, excel. Great. I mean, this Calvin looks juiced right now, by the way. But again, same thing. Run block to me is something that matters. 69 is pretty good for Calvin. It's not great. See, like Julio's got 72. Mike Irvin's got 68. But then we look at some of these other guys. Marvin Harrison, 56. Brandon Cook, 60. To me, it is a very important stat. It's a very important stat. And I like having a running back or a wide receiver who actually can juke, personally. Now, it's based on the routes I throw a lot, where I do want someone with 91 juke, because as soon as I catch the ball, I juke, right? So I know that if I throw it to Julio, it's probably not going to work so well, but if I throw it to Calvin, it's going to work better. So it's a slight little nuance. Someone like Fred Biletnikoff is really good at it, which sounds crazy, but it's definitely true. It's definitely true. And the one thing that we didn't really cover before was release. You know, obviously receivers are out wide. Release does matter for them. It matters how well they get off the press. Now, generally, the press in this game sucks when someone manually presses, right? And so release doesn't truly matter, I feel like. But again, if you've got a card with really high release, you might as well use it. So someone pressing Calvin, you might just want to streak that little man and throw it deep, right? So there's no surprises here on offense to me, really, at all, about what's important, what's not. But sometimes people get too caught up in the wrong stats or the wrong attributes, thinking, oh, I need this to be high, I need this to be high. You have to remember, you're building a team for your scheme, not someone else's scheme, the way you play. If you need someone who's really good at run blocking, get someone who's really good at run blocking. Don't listen to someone and be like, you need to get Marvin Harrison because he's got like 50 run block. Randy Moss can't run block, you know? It's just build your scheme accordingly and build your team accordingly and put it all together, and you will be a much better player. It's not that hard. So a lot of times people ask the very generic question, who should I get? And I don't like answering that because I don't know how you play. I don't know who you have, what's your budget, how many coins you want to spend, who are you selling, what are you doing? So it's tricky, but offense is pretty straightforward in my opinion. But the best advice I can give is build your team around your scheme. And if you change your scheme, it's okay to change your team. Does that make sense? It should. Enjoy it.